Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man to Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael Sean Dugar. You guys know where to follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My @ name has not changed. It's also right under my necklace for those watching on YouTube, @ Mike Dugar, MikeDugar. Speaking of YouTube, shout out to everyone watching or listening on our channel. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the channel. That's Seahawks Man, the number 2 man. This is the same thing on Instagram and TikTok. So make sure you go like, review, subscribe, repost, whatever. Every good button on all those platforms, please press it for us. Even if you just listen, like while you're walking your dog on Apple, that's fine. Go hit those other platforms because it means a lot to us. Thank you in advance. Chris, go ahead, talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at CKIDD206 and that's CKID206.
All right. It is, what time is it right now? I love telling you guys this for prime times. It is 2:50 a.m. Here on the East Coast. I'm wide awake though, so this is good. This is fun. So obviously close to midnight back home where Chris is at. We're doing it because we love you guys. You know, this is fun. This is fun. Chris, also, it's a lot easier to do a pod like this after they smoked the other team. You know, that was they beat the Commanders. Seahawks did 38-14 was the final. Seahawks improved to 6-2, tied for the best record in the NFC. There's a few other 6-2 teams as well. Who else is 6-2? The Eagles, the Bucks, the Rams are also 6-2. So you know, Niners are 6-3. So they're kind of right there with the rest of the conference. You know, at the top. Only the Rams have a better point differential. They're plus 82. The Seahawks are plus 81. So two teams neck and neck. But for now, the Seahawks are first place in the NFC West. They are, Chris, 3-0 in primetime now. They've now played on Thursday night, Monday night, and Sunday night. They won all of those by more points each time. Beat the Cardinals by 3, the Texans by like 8. And then today by, all this math I'm doing, 24. It's 24 points. I believe they won by today. Check me on that. And I'm starting with that, Chris, because this is something I think we've been talking about. Usually mostly in the off season, but people ask us like, "Yo, when are they going to get that love?" You know, from people who don't have a 206 phone number, you know, or a 253 or whatever, 509, however you get down. And I think that 425. I know, Chris. The time is now. Like they're going to lead. By the time this pod is out, you're going to see a lot of national people on Monday morning showing a lot of love to the Seattle Seahawks, talking about Sam Darnold's MVP, Jackson is Offensive Player of the Year, Mike McDonald is Coach of the Year, Seahawks as contenders. You're going to see all those headlines, all that stuff. I mean, you saw a little bit of it last time too when they beat the Texans, but that was a little sloppier than this game was, obviously. This was more of a beatdown. And you know what, Chris, they've earned that. And that's the thing that really stands out. We can get into the weeds of that with the questions and stuff, but like this team is doing the right, like they're doing what those other teams before them, like they didn't do. You know, some of the Geno teams were good like this, and it just didn't hit the same because then when the lights were bright, it didn't show up. They didn't make the play. Either one unit didn't show up or whatever. And I think it's very notable that the consistency is showing because now we're at the point where that Bucs game was an outlier defensively. Like they've never looked like that again. I don't expect them to ever look like that again. Then what was their worst offensive game? The week 1, what they scored 13. Clearly an outlier. They haven't looked like that again. I don't expect them to ever look like that again. Like we clearly know who they are, right? And they are a team that their defense is badass. No one can stop Jax. Like no one at all, not even a little bit. And then Sam is playing as well as any quarterback in the league. That's the case with at 4:00 Eastern as well on a Sunday, but no one cares because that's probably when the game of the week is on. Dallas is on, or Mahomes is playing on CBS. Like it's you can tell, like you get it. I think that sequencing is really important because that is what made the Legion of Boom era teams so like it just made them feel different because it's not only were they beating the Niners, whatever they beat them by, those like some of those games were on when Cam hit what's his name, the tight end, Vernon Davis. I'm pretty sure that was on Sunday Night Football. And they're eating them turkey legs after they smoked that Kaepernick team. Obviously, it was Thanksgiving. It's prime. Like they had a bunch of those Monday night beatdowns, Sunday night beatdowns. Like the team that they were at 1:00 Pacific on Sunday was showing up on primetime, and then it became this thing, this lore. They're getting a nickname. Russ is on Wheaties boxes. Like they became a thing, And I think that this team, you got to earn that right. But now they've earned it. I can't remember when they play on national TV again. I think Thursday against somebody. But for now, I feel like this is exactly what I wanted them to do. Like, just be who you've been every other time slot and do it against a team that, to be honest, Chris, and me and you both knew this. And Tashawn, our guest, too, who covers the Commanders for Washington Post, mentioned this. The Commanders are not anywhere as good as the Seahawks, But you got to show it. And boy, Chris, did they just put the belt to the booty on prime time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was over, it was over almost as quick as that Saints game was over. Like in week 3, it was over in like the first quarter. I was like, this is a wrap. It was a wrap. And they've earned that though. And I think that's what makes this team special, that we've known that, the fans have known that, and now the world is seeing that. And I think it's very important, for this team to show that.
Yeah, I think they did it on all facets, right? It's a statement game for the Seahawks on Sunday night, dominating the Commanders, and they just cruised to it. From the opening whistle, this was a complete offense, defense, special teams, you name it, they did it. You had a 300-pound, 295-pound defensive tackle.
He's listed 334. I looked it up. 334, by the way. Go ahead. But that's
running full speed on special teams, getting his hand in there and just making a play. Defensively, the Seahawks, clinic. Secondary, there was nobody open. There's a reason why Daniels had, every time they dropped back to pass, he was escaping and trying to find a way to run the football. They couldn't pass it. There was no receivers open. Coverage sacks. And even though Leo in the post-game conference talked about how, they want to be better in the lanes, that's a win for that defense. If their only offense is dropping back and Jaden trying to escape the pocket and just run, that is a huge win. It's not as if he was Mike Vick and he put up 195 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns through the air, 2 on the ground. That wasn't the performance. That performance from the defense didn't allow him to even find success. There was nothing he could do. I actually felt bad for him at a point. I was like, damn, you came back just to get your ass whooped on national television? Dan Quinn had no answers. The OC, what's his name? Former Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury had no answers. Their defense was just embarrassing for the most part, which Tashawn, if you guys watched our preview show last week, Tashawn talked about how those DBs just cannot cover, and you saw that. Sam completed, I think, in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, 16 for 16. Just incredible.
For 282 yards, by the way. That's 17.6 yards an attempt. Jesus. Go ahead.
He was just on fire, decisive, really good football, just knowing where the reads are and attacking the Washington Commanders' weaknesses. And he looked so comfortable back there. I think by the end of the first half, he was pressured on 13% of his dropbacks. 13%. So if he had dropped back 18 times, he was pressured once. That's incredible. That shows love to the offensive line, as they've been doing this pretty much the entire season. They've had a really good pass pro. Run game was not the best yet again. A couple of times there were certain penalties. For instance, the one, I think I was a passing play, but nonetheless, a couple of penalties here and there in the game really didn't help the offense in the run game. But what more could you ask for, right? When they wanted to run the football, it wasn't effective. Mike, you tweeted out at the end of the game, the biggest concern might be In the fourth quarter, when it's time just to chew that clock up, the Seahawks don't have a reliable run game, 3 and out. It's kind of not what you want, especially let's say they're going up against the Eagles and it's a playoff game and you're up by 3 and you don't have the ability to run the football and chew that clock up. Well, damn, you're going to get the defense right back on the field against Jalen Hurts in that offense. That's tough. That's a tough ask. Now, Mike McDonald on the defense, they'll tell you we want that opportunity every single time. And that's fine. But at some point in time, the Seahawks got to figure out how can we dominate through 3 quarters, but in that fourth quarter, chew that clock up and make sure that we get out of there with the win and we're not putting the ball back in this other team's hands, giving them free points at the end of the game, things of that nature. So that's one little thing that you can look at. But other than that, that D-line was nasty. The offensive line was nasty. I hope Ernest Jones is okay because you can tell just how impactful he is, right? And I'm assuming things will be fine because he was on the sideline still and jumping around. Doesn't mean he's not going to miss a game or two. We don't know that, but it was good seeing him out there and still being a team leader off the field in that scenario when he got banged up. And then JSN, Horton stepping up. What more could you ask for a guy that's Mike knew coming in, he would be a ball player. And then on the big stage, shows up and catches 2 touchdowns. And Chris Collinsworth even was impressed by his route running off the line of scrimmage, beating the press and just embarrassing the defense, making it really look so easy and catching his first touchdown and then following up with another touchdown, a play action pass. Even though Lattimore was trying to hold him and trying to eliminate that, he fought through it and was able to make the play. Just a big time statement win. And yes, I talked about it last week, 2 weeks ago, and one big thing for the Seahawks as the national media is getting a hold of them. Yeah, Mike is 1000% correct. They are going to be talking about Super Bowl contenders, you name it. They've earned it. The ball was finding energy, as Mike McDonald said, and the energy created a 38-14 victory, moving them to 6-2 on the season. And as I mentioned, from the start, damn near through the end of the game, they were just destroying those guys. And if you're a Seahawks fan, you got to be really excited about what this team can do now and moving forward. But dare I say, I think there's still 2 teams in their own division that'll definitely have something to say about it. The Niners, who are banged up and still find a way to win because they got Christian McCaffrey. And then obviously the Rams, who, as Mike mentioned with the point differential, they are whooping teams' ass too. The Saints got beat down by the Seahawks and the Rams. What a coincidence. So 2 of those teams trying to figure out who's going to be the top dog in the NFC West. It's probably going to come down to this last week in the regular season to see who's going to be the top dog. But right now, you got to think that the Seahawks are definitely moving closer and closer to being a true contender, that Super Bowl or bust for them.
Yeah, I think a couple things before we get into some questions. The running backs today combined for Ken had 11 for 42, and he rushed for 2 first downs. He had a 12-yard run and an 11-yard run. So 2 first downs, which is not a great first down per carry number. Zach had 8 carries for 25 yards, one first down. And yeah, so that's not great. And then George Halani had some whatever carries there. So, but another like not great day running the ball there as well. And yeah, so it's still, obviously there's still some, every team has warts in the NFC. I talked about that a little bit, coming into this game. It was like, I already thought they were NFC contenders because I don't see like a juggernaut in the NFC and nothing that I watch football all day, and I was nothing I saw changed that. Philly didn't play this week, and I don't think the Bucs did either, but I've seen enough from both of those teams to know like they're not Thanos, right? So I think the Seahawks are in a very, very good spot. And what I like about what they do on both sides of the ball is there's nothing really like they get to do the things they're good at, and they make the opponent not be able to do the things that they're supposedly good at. Like I think the Seahawks come in like, all right, we're going to get the ball to Jax. The other team knows that. They plan that all week. And there's nothing they can do about it. That's it. And that's a sign of a really elite team. Like, what we're about to do, and you can't stop it, right? And then on defense, it's like you guys have a standard, whatever it is, for your offense, the opposing offense, that is. We're going to make you play below your standard pretty much every week, They are doing that again, with the exception of the Bucks. Every team is pretty much played below whatever their standard is. What did the Commanders score today? They had 14 points. Yeah, and then really only had 7 before Jaden got hurt, right? So let's call it even, let's say 14 though, right? The Commanders average 22 points a game. Like they don't look this bad every week. The Texans don't look that bad with CJ Stroud every week. Look at how they look the very next week against the Niners.
Beat the Niners.
These teams don't look that bad. And the Cardinals might be. We'll see what happens Monday night. Like Jacoby, Kyler, I don't really know what's going on there. But for the most part, the teams that don't look that bad. Even the Saints don't look usually as bad as they did against the Seahawks. Right now, they've changed quarterbacks. So I don't really know the Tyler Shuck dynamic. I just saw the box score from today, and that, like Chris said, that was bad. But you guys get the point I'm making. Teams don't usually look as disjointed as they do when they play the Seahawks. Even the Niners, like they scored 17 points on the Seahawks. That Niners offense good. they scored more than 17 points a game. Let me see what they scored. What did the Niners score? At 21, and that's with their backup quarterback. They'd be scoring more than that with Brock, obviously. So that's that's 2 things I love about this team right now is that, yeah, they get to fight right-handed and then make the opponent fight left-handed. That's a good team. That's a very, very, very good team. You can do that week in, week out. Like I said, we've seen basically 2 outlier performances. Not to say that they'll never have down games. You can call the Houston game a down game for the offense, for instance. But the Seahawks know who they are. The opponent knows what's coming and really does not have very many answers. And that's very impressive. So I think the Seahawks have earned the right to get all the praise and hyperbole they're going to get Monday, maybe even into Tuesday from people outside of Seattle. I need to get that Nick Wright monologue, that Stephen A. Smith rant we're talking about last week. I'm hoping to see that on First Take on Monday. If you guys see it, tag me in it, tweet it, whatever. Like, just reply, tag me. I want to see. I want to see Sam Darnold and those boys. I want to hear it. Because they've earned it though. And that's special. The good teams get that. They deserve that. Philly's gotten it. Detroit's gotten it. The Commanders last year when they were hot, they got it. Like teams get that stuff. The Colts have been getting it all year. They're not going to get it tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's the Seahawks are earning all the praise they're about to get because of what Mike McDonald's done and what all the people we're about to talk about have done. So yeah, shout out to the Seahawks, man. They're making it for a very easy flight back home, 5 hours, man. I'll take that. I told Ty Okada that. I said it's a long flight, but I'll take it. Y'all gonna do that. It makes my job very, very easy. So salute to them.
Well, you know what time it is. Time to get to all the questions and voicemails. So we'll go ahead and do that here. Got quite a few. So let's get it.
This is Mike in the other Washington. My question is, you got Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. 3 are probably the best the top 3 receivers in the league right now. You even have Jeremiah Smith, probably top receiver in college football. What voodoo magic is on names that start with J right now? And how do I get some of that? Thanks. Y'all are awesome. Peace.
Appreciate the love. Change your name is the way to do that. Change it to something that start with a J. I mean, if what's the running back's name for the Commanders? His name is
Bill.
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. If he can go by Bill, we can all go by something that starts with a J. We can do that, if we want to get in that love. But no, I think the sentiment of the question obviously is about Jax, and I'm glad. I love when Jax is on national TV because they got the pre-planned little packages there. Collinsworth and whoever's announcing usually has their Herb Street, whoever has their like built up stuff that they're ready to say about him and everything. And like, dog, he is just as cold as anybody in the league. I would throw CeeDee Lamb in there too. We talk about guys who are the best. AJ Brown as well. Like this guy Jax, man, you can't do nothing with that boy. And it's not the reason why I'm hyping up this particular win. I guess we both are, is because we know it's not just because the Commanders are bad. We just saw the Seahawks hang 27 on the best defense in the league, which is Houston, and they keep showing that Houston does routinely. And Jax just took turns with Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter. Like he just was like, I'll cook all y'all. So he's cooked the bad corners, he's cooked the good corners, he's cooking the mid corners. Like whoever you put on this guy, it don't matter. And I think that's also a shout out to Clint Kubiak, who finds ways to get Jax open still, because And I'm sure people are probably wondering, like, how is this guy just open every week? Like, what are the Seahawks doing? Maybe we'll do like a deep dive on that, maybe standout players or something. But I think beyond him just winning off the line, which I'm glad they showed on Elijah's touchdown, I'm glad they showed what was going on the opposite side of the field, because that should be illegal. I think that was Trey Amos. He was barbecuing.
Yes.
Jackson. I'm sure Trey has a family. Don't do that again. That was mean. I don't even think Trey played again after that.
He did. He came back in the game. Yeah.
Oh, he did? Okay. Because that was mean. But beyond him just doing that, like just winning in a one-on-one, defenses have rules and they have assignments. So no matter how much you want to key in on a guy, unless you're just going to break structure, which is dangerous, you can attack as long as Jackson's willing to move around, which he can, obviously. You're always going to be able to get this guy open. Same way Jamar Chase and Justin are always open. CD as well. They line up in the backfield. Jax had a catch out of the backfield today on top of a run play as well. Like Clint and Jax and Sam are all very much in sync on how to, like, okay, here's this rules. Here's how this team plays quarters or cover 2 or cover 3 or match whatever. Here's how they play it. Here's how we're going to use Jax. He had like the quietest 8 for 129 I didn't seen today. Like it was just like, oh yeah, just another Jax game where he had 129. And Chris, he's gonna break this record. It feels like. I feel like he'd have to get hurt to not break this record. Megatron's record. I'm referencing. Like what the pace he's on is just it's ridiculous. He has last thing on this. Let me pull this up. I'm pretty sure he's almost at 1,000 yards already. What is he at? 938. Make sure I get this right. He is at 948 in 8 games, bro. In 8 games. He is averaging 118 and a half yards a game. What? Yeah, that's nuts. That guy is different. Shout out to Jax, man.
Shout out to Jax.
Hey guys, this is Ross from Mill Creek. Damn, Sam Darnold. Is it time to give this guy his flowers? Are we ready to admit that, forced or not, Sam Darnold was the right choice for this franchise? That he could do no wrong? Do you think at this point he is the guy to lead this team to where we have not been since prime Russell Wilson? Thanks. Love the show.
All right. Appreciate the love. What do you think, Chris? Sam the guy?
He's making a case to be the guy. I can't see the Seahawks saying, yeah, it didn't work out, blah, 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 blah. He's doing everything, despite the outside run game that they promised they would have locked in. They're better at running in between the tackles. They had a few runs. I think all the runs that were first downs were, guess what? In between the tackles. The toss again, ineffective. I think Charbonnet got a toss and lost like 6 yards. I'm like, God damn, man. Just cut it. Remember that song? Cut it. Cut it. Cut it. It's time for the Seahawks to cut that. It's not working. It doesn't work. Kanan, I think he got like 4 yards on a toss, but it's just inconsistent. You want to run the football, left side between the tackles, there you go. First down. It works out way more often. That tells me that, okay, despite that, and Sam's still throwing for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had one bad play. I'll give it, that was bad, but outside of that, he's had a really good season without the run game being as consistent as he would want it. So he's definitely putting himself in position to be the guy for at least 2-3 seasons, depending on how this one ends, right? I know there are still the nationally, I remember Stephen A. Smith saying he ain't falling for it. He saw what happened last season towards the end. And you know what? That's fair. Obviously, I don't know all the ins and outs of what happened with the Minnesota Vikings, but I do know their offensive line got banged up. And Sam Darnold, he didn't play good his last few games. Ended up losing the playoffs. Everyone saw that. So I understand why some people will be skeptical. But right now, after what he did on Sunday Night Football, yeah, he's in the discussion for potential MVP. He is playing some really good football. Clint Kubiak is making, I think, the offense just so simple. It's really basic. It's play action pass Oh, they play man. Hey, we're just gonna throw it over the top. You saw that with the Elijah Arroyo's touchdown. They were trying to stop the run. You know, even though it wasn't as effective as they wanted to be, they had to switch things up. They can't just stay in zone because the pressure's not getting there. Sam Darnold has all the time in the world when they drop back and they're trying to play zone, or maybe they're playing man. I couldn't see the full field, obviously, on the TV copy, but whatever they were trying to do, it was not working. So you know what they say? Yeah, we gotta go man and hopefully get some pressure. Maybe send a linebacker. Doesn't matter. Sam Darnold was able to just pick and choose where he wanted. Hell, Torrey Horton had 2 touchdowns. Elijah had a touchdown. Cody White had a touchdown. The Seahawks are calling up, was not called practice squad, it's called the Ready Squad.
The Ready Squad. That's right. They got T-shirts and everything.
And the Ready Squad handed it to the Commanders. It didn't matter. They were ready for it. It did not matter. You would think Torrey Horton's been in the league for 5 years the way he played on Sunday Night Football. That's how good he was. Elijah Arroyo, he did his thing. Cody White, dude's been in the league for 6 years. Touchdown. You're seeing the leadership from Mike McDonald to Sam Darnold, everyone on this roster, and you gotta give credit where credit is due. Sam Darnold is definitely a part of this puzzle, and I think he can lead this team somewhere special. It's still determined to see how it ends. I'm no Christodamus, but the way he's playing right now, you got to tip your hat to the guy and say, yeah, he's playing really good football, and Clint Kubiak is doing a really good job of putting him in position to do so, despite the run game. So that's really impressive. Hell, they had missed Oots for 4 weeks, and they were still out there running the football, being physical, trying to force what they're doing on the defense and make them respect that, and they do, because Sam Darnold's able to make the deep ball work. Defense comes up, throw it over the top to JSN, throw it over the top to Torrey Horton. It might have got dropped, but it's that type of pressure that Sam Darnold, Clint Kubiak, and this offense is putting on defenses.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I started a lot there. Let me gather myself. It is unfair, though simultaneously fair, to if you're trying to project Sam's long-term viability as the starting quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, have some skepticism based on how he finished the season as a starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. That's just the reality of it. Sam played really well through 15 weeks or whatever last year, 16, right? And Minnesota was like, nah. Now they had a different reason for saying nah because they had JJ, but still they were like, nah, you know? And I think that the reasons why they said nah were not reasons that many people would have argued with at the time. They were like, well, yeah, you see how that ended. It was kind of like the clock striking 12. And and Sam's a different player, I think. Now I think he learned a lot from how that ended. But still, for a lot of people, it's gonna be okay, well, let's see how you end the season, where that's where we'll see if you've really learned and when it counts. And I think that's fair. That's kind of where I'm at as well. Like in the moment, Sam is playing as well as pretty much as anyone. And there's a lot of quarterbacks playing well right now. I keep checking the numbers every week. Josh Allen's playing well. Lamar Jackson's playing well. Patrick's playing well. Drake May's playing lights out. Stafford is playing. I didn't watch today, but Stafford's numbers suggest that dude is on a tear, right? So like, there's a lot of quarterbacks playing well. So, and Sam's right is just playing as well as any of those guys. Jalen Hurts is playing well, throwing the ball well. So like in the moment, Sam is excellent. If you ask me about projecting the future, I'm like, well, I still want to wait and see, because I was one of those people last year who was like, we'll see the real Sam again at some point. And then the Detroit game happened. Even the Jacksonville game last year happened. Then the Detroit game last year happened. And the Rams game last year happened. And I was like, we'll see. And I don't necessarily think that'll happen again. You know, and I've talked to people. I was talking to people in the summer about why that's not going to happen. I'll reveal more of that later when we get into January and December. So I don't think that's going to be a problem again. But until I see it, I can't say definitively. I think that, like Chris said it, you said it well. He's making a very strong case. You keep doing this, then it'll be very tough to see Sam as anything other than, you know, the next great Seahawks quarterback. We just got to see it. I think the one thing to keep in mind is how long this will be a viable thing where Sam has no run game support. Because I don't really care who you are. That is a thing. That even trips up Joe Burrow because they don't run the ball well. That's tripped up some Stafford teams when they haven't run the ball well. Even some Chiefs teams, teams have been able to cover them pretty well with just dropping 8 because they know Andy Reid won't run the ball, and then they don't run it that well. So like you need to see it. That's why the Buffalo offense is so good the way it is now, because they'll give James Cook the ball 30 times if they have to, right? So I do think it's fair to question like how long he's going to be able to do this without the support of the thing that's supposed to help them. And last thing to bring this home, Chris, in the second half, Sam was 5 of 8 for 48 yards with a pick, 6 yards per attempt. And I don't think that now. Obviously, it wasn't very meaningful ball he was playing. That's all in the third quarter, basically. He wasn't playing very meaningful ball there. However, but that's an example, right? Like it's you can't just keep being perfect. You're not going to be that. There's got to be a margin for error, and the run game is how you eliminate that. So hopefully it sustains. But we still got to. I know it sounds crazy coming off of a night like that in the game he's having, but that's the reality of the situation when Sam ends the year like he did last year.
Plantum Menace on Instagram asks, Torrey seems like he got that post-bye rookie bump, but Kupp was out as well. How optimistic do you guys feel about Torrey turning into a legit wide receiver number 2?
Oh, I feel very confident. I mean, we're not supposed to talk about my fantasy team on here pretty much, but I'm in 3 leagues. I picked up, as soon as I saw that Kupp hurt his hammy, I said, I picked up Torrey in 3 leagues. Every league I'm in, started him in 2. And whether I'm going to win or not is whatever. But that's how I'm using that example to see how confident I was. I was like, oh, like I benched DJ Moore in 1 league for Torrey. DJ went off, and I was like, I don't care. I know Torrey's going to go off. And I think he scored more than DJ Moore today. And it's like, he's so ready to be a number 2. Like, you guys could just see it. If you put your best corner on Jax, and then you put your not best corner on Torrey, it can be a long night, bro. Like Torrey he's not as good a route runner as Jax or Coop right now. Doesn't need to be. He's like good enough, and his strides are so long that he kind of separates in a different way. Like how he separated from what is numbers? How you say number 0's last name? I messed it up on our pregame pod too. Sanwer still? I'm sorry. Is that it? If that's not correct, I apologize. But hopefully that's correct. Number 0. Do you see how he beat that guy on that touchdown? You see that inside release with the outside cut, but how long the strides are, so it looked like the other dude had cinder blocks on his ankles? Yeah, that's because Torrey can separate. And it's not just on the long striding, too. You see how that goal line fade he ran on Kool-Aid in week 3, the Saints corner. Like he can win like in tight quarters as well. Like I was so confident going into this game. Like I said, I was willing to bet. I'm a big fantasy player. I bet my fantasy life on Torrey this week. Basically, I was like, yeah, come on. I knew he'd be ready because the routes, the hands. Chris, you see the catch on the sideline, falling down. That's all hands. Ain't no body catch. Like he catches the punch with his hands. He probably shouldn't do that, but like he does that too. Like so, yeah. I think hopefully Kupp come back. I don't root for injuries, but if they have to go like a long time without Kupp, which is very possible. When you're 32 and have a bad hammy, I'm 33, Chris 33. We didn't have bad hammies. That hurts. And that takes some time to come back. And he got a heel injury too. I don't know if it's the same leg. But yeah, I feel very, very confident in Torrey as a wide receiver too. He is so smooth, such good hands. Good yak guy as well. He hasn't had a chance to really show that yet, but he's the punt returner for a reason. So yeah, I think I knew this was coming. Like I felt that as soon as I saw on Friday, Kupp was out or hurt. I'm like, yeah, this is the Torrey Horton game. So, yeah, the Seahawks are in a really good place. They basically had 2 wide receiver 2s and Kupp and Horton. That's why I wasn't really. When people have been asking Chris about like the trade deadline and going to get a receiver, I'm like, for what? People keep telling me like they should go get Raheem Shaheed from the Saints. I'm like, I'm not giving up a 3rd round pick. No disrespect to Raheem to Shaheed. They have Torrey Horton. He did the same thing. And you guys can see, do the same thing. Just as good. He's just as good right now. Like, not even like next year. He's as good right now, bro. I'm telling you. So, yeah, I think they got one in Torrey. And it was clear in training camp, but now it's like very clear that he's that guy.
Mike Davidson asks, every time Cody White gets on the field, he makes plays. Why is he never in the conversation to be the Seahawks' 4th receiver?
That's a good question. I mean, because Bobo is a thing. There we go. I think that's part of it. Like Bobo is very good. Too. He's just good in a different way. Like he's a damn. This is gonna sound like racial stereotyping, but he's like a grittier player. Like Bobo, like blocks really well. Is really comfortable doing the dirty work. He's almost like a power slot, like tight end guy. Also, he's a good route runner too. You guys know how much we love Bobo on this show. It's probably my favorite route runner to watch. But I think that's why, and I think that's okay. I think Bobo's fine. However, Chris, Cody White's long speed is very, very impressive. Like he is just like a very long strider, very good yak. Uh, Tracks the ball very well. Remember he had that. Who did he have that touchdown in the preseason against? Like the Browns, maybe. You remember that he had like a long touchdown against them. And it was, you know what I'm talking about?
I
It
do
w-
not remember that one. I have to look it
it's
up.
yeah, we'll look it up. But like he had a long touchdown against, I think it was the Browns. And it's like, yeah, he tracks the ball really well. He had a really big catch against the Rams in week 9 last year. Like I'm like Gino just heaved it up there and he just tracked it perfectly. It's like Cody does a lot of stuff really well. I was also very confident that he'd be a fine wide receiver 3 this week. I was like, mostly because I thought the Commanders DBs weren't good. Spoiler, they were not. But like I was just very confident in Cody. Cody's like, honestly, if I was a team that needed receivers, like if I was the Commanders, like I was like, yo, can we get 82? Like we could do if I was like Buffalo, can we get 82? Like if we I think Cody's dad still works for the Steelers, I think. He is easily better, I think, than like Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, whoever else they got over there. But I think that yeah, the being behind Bobo, like I don't think he should be behind Derek for what that's worth. I think that Cody should be higher there, but yeah, I think he's talking about making a case like we would for Sam. Chris, I've never seen Cody like be on the field and being like, oh, he doesn't belong. You know what I mean? Even in the pre how many times has he like had one of the best preseasons? You know, like shining in camp, like leading my camp recap stories. Like this guy is like him having a 60-yard touchdown that I'm like, yeah, makes sense. I've seen him have big touchdowns before. He got good hands. Yeah, good downfield guy. Yeah, he's really good, man. He's good. I think he's very similar to some of the other guys on the team. If he was in an offense with more volume, he would put up numbers like that. So I think when everybody's healthy, if he keeps playing like this, which I do think he will, I think they're gonna have some decisions to make about like, okay, who's really our like third and fourth receivers because they're in a really good spot.
This is from Hawkins Remy. Do you think the offense looked better without Cooper Kupp?
Well, no, I think you play the Commanders. That helps. I'm sorry, we're just poo pooing all the Commanders. They were just really Chris. They are bad.
They're bad. They're not a good football team.
No, like particularly their defense is not good. They don't have a pass rush. They're asking way too much of Frankie and Bobby to cover all that space in the middle. Their corners are grabby. It's just bad press technique. There's some bad stuff they put on tape today at the crib, national TV. But no, I don't think it looked better. I think that what they put up against the Saints, like something close to this on offense, pretty sure. They scored like 44 with a punt return in there for a tug. So yeah, I think they can have this offense with Cup as well. I do think Torrey has the potential though to be more of a matchup problem in the second, like in the pass game than Cup does right now. I think Cup like can beat like a very specific type of coverage and specific type of corner. But Torrey's athleticism is just a little bit different. But they're both equally tough to guard. I think the bigger thing about the offense, and Chris, I'm sure you probably agree, no matter who's in there, receiver or whatever, everybody needs to block better in the run game. That just can't have what they're doing in the run game right now and sustain. Like it's not that they're not like an elite run team. We're not nitpicking here. They're just like not a good running football team. I can pull up the numbers here, but yeah, Chris, that no matter who's at receiver, that is worrying me more than anything.
That's fair. Yeah, the run game as a whole, from your offensive line to your tight ends to your wide receivers. They all have to be better. I'm sure Mike McDonald would agree with that. This is from Bam Bam Cam. Isn't run blocking supposed to be what linemen usually prefer and find easier? Why the Seahawks O-line seems to be better in pass block than in the run blocking?
We can appreciate the question. We can remove that seems to be there. I haven't seen a contrast this stark in O-line performance of any Seahawk team I've seen. When they're asked to pass block, they are excellent. When they're asked to run block, it is disjointed. Guys are just losing one-on-ones. And it's I really want to stress this, and I hope that the broadcast showed some zoomed in slow-mo replays to reemphasize this point. The Seahawks run game is not an Anthony Bradford problem. Multiple guys are not getting the job done to make this work. Running backs included, like making the right cuts, being patient enough. Like it was a run there to the left today, and then Charles just got bench pressed, and his guy I think made the tackle. I can't remember, but like that's nothing to do with AB. Like Abe has bad reps sometimes. Today there was a run that didn't go well. I think on the goal line or in a short yardage situation because Elijah didn't block Frankie Louvu. Nothing to do with Anthony Bradford. Nothing to do with Jalen Sundell. Like, not to say those guys are all playing excellent. My point is that I think AB gets a lot of the, man, we get a right guard, we can run the ball. No, that is an everybody thing right now. I don't think anybody can say like, oh, I'm killing it in the run game right now. Me and Chris could go through every run game, every rep of every game this year running the ball and find a different non-AB player who missed a block, who didn't reach the linebacker, who didn't finish the double team the right way. We can do it. We're not going to. That'd be a 2-hour show. But we could. So I think I'm not really sure why that is. My one theory, Chris, is that I think that their goal is to get D linemen and everyone like on the move and use their athleticism that the offensive line has to their strengths. And instead, teams are just flying upfield against them. Like, and it's just disrupting everything. Because like you said, it's not even that they're just not killing it. Zach lost 4 yards, I think, on the run you're talking about. Like Ken had Zach had like 5 runs today for like a yard. Ken had like 4 runs today, I think, for like a yard. Like they're just doing a lot of nothing on here. And it reminds me, and we talked about this in the offseason. The Falcons game last year is why I was not sold on just switching to this wide zone thing was going to fix everything. The Falcons run wide zone as well as pretty much any team. If you got Bijan in fantasy or just have YouTube, you know this. And him and Algier ran crazy on the Seahawks in the first half of that game last year in week 7. And then they did a whole lot of just getting cardio in the second half. I talked to the D-line and the locker room. I said, what happened in the second half? Leo, Byron, all those guys were like, we were catching blocks in the first half. We decided in the second half, just fly upfield and disrupt them. And they won the game, blew the Falcons out. I think teams are doing that now to the Seahawks. Just get upfield and then let it flow and disrupt the timing, and the Seahawks can't run. I don't know what the answer to fixing that is. I have to maybe talk to some people and get some schematic answers. But that, Chris, I think that's what's going on. It is legitimately, I think, a concern. Because if you just can't run the ball, whether you have the lead or you don't, you're going to have some problems eventually. Like, I don't care how good you throw the ball. Like, that's just going to come back to bite you against teams that are good.
Yeah, it truly will. As I mentioned, just an example with the Eagles. You can't run the ball and you're up 3 with 7 minutes left. That could become disastrous. That's how you end up losing the game. Now, against the Commanders, they're not a good football team. They couldn't move the ball if they tried. So, in theory, it doesn't really matter. But against those better football teams and the game is getting ready to end, you have to be able to chew that clock. And the Seahawks haven't done that this season. And that is
at
something
all in any game.
Yeah, that could come back to haunt you in your first playoff game. You're on the road. Well, you know what? For bits and giggles, let's say they win. And they win the division. Okay, get a nice little home game. Well, if you can't run the football at home against, I don't know, probably the Buccaneers come to town.
Chris, I help you. You can use any team that's these are the other 6 teams in the playoffs right now in the NFC. Philly, Tampa, Green Bay, Rams, Niners, Detroit. Pick any of those teams for your example.
That's really tough to say, oh, the Seahawks can win and not run the football. against any of those teams, they could honestly lose straight up. As well as they're
Easily.
playing right now, you can't run the football on the Lions, you can lose that game. You can't run the football against the Niners, who've already been beating you for the last decade, it seems like. That's an automatic loss. The Rams, do I need to continue? You see my point? They're not beating any of those teams right now without running the football. They have to be able to run it because Mike mentioned it. They're just going to drop 8 dudes in coverage. And that will slow down Jackson unless Sam is able to just maneuver in the pocket, buy time because a 3-man pass rush against 5 O-linemen. You see the numbers there. It should weigh for the offense to find some room and create something downfield. So you would hope that maybe Sam can use his elusiveness and create plays downfield. But that's not a recipe for this team to be successful. Running the football, something that they mentioned was going to be the staple of this offense, still is not showing at this point in time in 9 weeks. So that's a little bit of a concern, but let's not harp on it too much. But we shall see how it all plays out because it's very important. Grant Alden, Sundale, learning a new position, right? That's got to be a part of the Seahawks run game struggling. But how much of his failure is also related to trying to cover for Brad Ford?
Cover 4 is tough. I'd have to go back and really look at each individual run, with that lens in mind. When I just look at their run, just cut ups, or just filter to the run plays and watch the tape, and then talk to the guys, it really does seem like teams are just scheming this up and playing them really well on the runs that they want to get to. They're just not developing the right way. And it's tough, man, when you don't get those creases. So Ken can cut up field, or Zach can cut up field, or somebody doesn't reach the 3 technique, or I think Jalen actually is pretty good at like reaching like 3 techs and nose tackles, like reaching them. I mean, and like sealing them off so that there's like backside cut lane or whatever. I actually think he's pretty good at that. My kind of untrained eye, I guess, feels that way. I really don't think I can pinpoint one guy who's like needs to just step their game up. I really think it's everybody. I mean, I just used some examples today of Charles and one that was Elijah. I can probably go back and find one where a receiver didn't make his block. It really is a collective. Ineptitude is strong, but like mediocrity, I should say. Here, let me pull up some numbers to drive this point home. So let's see, yards per carry on rushing attempts by running backs. I don't like yards per carry, but let's just use it. 3.7. That is 30th in the league. That is bad. Rush EPA these are all just on running back attempts. They are 29th, right behind the Saints and right above the Raiders. Success rate on runs by running backs, 23rd, right behind the Giants, right above the Titans. These are not teams you want to be near. First downs per rush, which is a number I like, because the demoralizing thing for a defense is when you get a first down running the ball. They get all tired, like, oh damn, now we gotta put our sub. They just start doing subbing. I remember, I'm never gonna forget when like they're talking to defensive linemen. I think it was like Puna, first person that put me on this. He was like, I don't get tired. It was somebody in Puna's year, 2018, but they was like, I don't get that tired from playing a lot of snaps. The tiring part for us is running to and from the line, or the sideline. That's the furthest they run all game. The D-line, like the big boys. It was like, that's what makes us tired. You do that when the other team is getting first downs and you guys have to sub in and out. So I like to look at like first down rush rate. That's a big one for me. The Seahawks are, where do you think they are, Chris, in first downs per rush on running back attempts league-wide?
29th.
Ooh, close. 28th. 28th. Right behind the Bucks and right behind the Bucks and right above the Raiders. So I mean, we can go through all these things. They're just not. This is like a very not good running the ball team, and I think that they're going to have to adjust their approach schematically. I think quite a bit, and guys just got to play better. But I think schematically, they might have to switch it up. Chris mentioned they're better running between the tackles. That might just have to be the identity there. It really is, because as much as teams don't want to get killed in the passing game, I do think the better defenses will feel a lot more confident when their chances, when being like, hey, if we can stop this run, Sam will mess up eventually. And while that's not like the greatest plan in the world, as you can see today, it was like, he'll give us one. He did. Texans gave him what, two picks, 3? No, they
Yeah.
had a fumble in that. No, they had a fumble in that game, I think too. I think Arroyo fumbled. But
Royal
Sam
fumbled.
and then Sam threw 2 picks,
Cooper
and then
Kupp.
Cup threw a pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Sam threw 2 picks and fumbled. That's what it was. So like it was or whatever. You guys get the point. We can look up the numbers exactly. The point is, if the opponent is like, well, Sam's got to be perfect to beat us again against a good team later in the year, that can be a problem if you can't run it. So I think schematically they got to make a change there. Maybe we'll call in somebody who knows a little bit more about the schematics. Maybe have them on a preview pod or something, because I do think that's going to have to be the answer. I really don't think it's just as simple as find a new center, find a new guard. They have like a real like fundamental issue with running the ball here, whether they have the lead or they don't. But I think it's most important when they do have the lead, because what's the use of getting up if you just keep putting your defense in position to like have to keep preserving leads on short fields? You're not flipping the field. You're not getting first downs. Like this is a real problem, and it's not just one or two guys.
This is from Gindalus. When will the Barnyard catch on as the name for the Barner sneak / push play?
Oh, I think it's I'm with that. Are you with Barnyard? We can just call it that now.
That's
Cool's
easy.
making that the stamp.
Stamped it. Boom. Bada bang. You have it. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, the Barnyard. And just to clear up what we were just talking about, Sam had 1 pick and 1 fumble against the Texans. But yeah, Barnyard, I'm with that. The false start today was hilarious. They just went super early. But yeah, I think that should be their go-to. It works, man. It really does. I'm with that. Yeah, stamp it. Official. What's it today? November 3rd now. But November 3rd, 2025. Boom. Seahawks man-to-man stamp. It is the Barnyard. That is their version of the brotherly shove, tush push, whatever. And they should go to it. They should go to it more often. It's better than that fade that they threw to Jaxon like 31 or whatever. I was like, I'm not feeling that. I'd rather just go get the yards and get those first downs. I think first downs is just, it's hard to really articulate how important those are to the defense. Like they get really down on themselves. So they're like, another first down. Okay. And we had them on 3rd down. Now we got to get back out there. Like it's a mentality you got to have to be good and good and good through that. And if you don't have that, you end up getting cooked. So yeah, the Barnyard. Step it. Shout out to AJ Barner getting a touchdown on that.
This next one comes from Pratik. Looks like Reek didn't start today. Assuming Job comes back in a couple of weeks, what do you think Reek Woolen's role is going to be on the defense moving forward?
Yeah, Chris, I was thinking, me and some of the guys on the beat were talking about this. It's a really weird situation, one I haven't seen before. It's like just no one's told me any of this. Just watching the rotations, it feels like they have kind of not wanted to start Reek since like week 2. They just can't because everyone gets hurt. I really do think that if they had a fully healthy secondary against the Steelers, their starting corners would have been Josh and Spoon, like they were today, and then Nick inside. I do think that's the case. And I thought that in real time. And then the Cardinals game came around and they were playing Josh and they were playing Spoon as the outside guys and in base. And then they were bringing, I don't think Nicky Memori played that game, but they were bringing, Reek was basically their 3rd corner in that game. But then Spoon didn't play the next however many weeks. So he couldn't do it anymore and had to start Reek then against the Bucks, and then he gets hurt in that game, and then Shaquille start in the next week. Like I really do think with at full strength, which is I think today was the first game their corners were all at full strength since week 1, I think. And you see how they were doing the rotation. It was I keep getting these names wrong. It was Josh, Spoon, Imawari. And then when they went to 6 DBs, Reek was on the field. So now you're looking at 8, if we count Nick as a corner, nickel, whatever, you're basically now Reek's like CB4. But then Josh gets speared by Ty Okada, and now Reek's in. Yeah, that was that replay was. I hope Josh is okay. And then Reek's got to play, and then Reek comes in and plays well. One of those first plays they try to go at him on an out route by Debo, which come on, and and then Jaden has to go somewhere else. So yeah, I think in a perfect world, the rotation looks like it did today. Josh and Spoon, and then Nikki Mawari, then Reek coming in and dime and obvious throwing situations or whatever, and they just roll that out. I think that's like their ideal situation. Chris, I don't think their secondary will ever be at full strength. Like it's just, I think that's just hoping for that. It's over. Somebody's keep getting hurt, and it's not their fault. That's just football. Like Julian Love, now he's on IR, so he's gonna miss a month. Who knows how long Josh will be out, and that's hoping that everybody else stays healthy when they have to play without those guys. When Julian comes back, who else is everybody else healthy? So I think they're that's why you kind of see all this smoke. Like Adam Schefter's reporting, I'm not denying his reporting to be very clear, but he's making it very clear that teams want Reek. And I think he reported the other day that the Seahawks don't want to trade him, but there's just too much smoke. And I've been around too long for this just like to just be that naive. Like there's a smoke for a reason, but they got to play him. They got to play him because they ain't got no bodies. And the thing is, Chris, he's good. It's like he's a good player. It's like they got to like reluctantly play one of their good guys. It's a weird situation. And honestly, through all that, shout out to Reek for just like, be like, all right, is what it is. When they call my number, I need to go out there and lock up. Like that's because he's no dummy. He can see what's up. So yeah, Reek did not start today. But if Josh Jobe got a concussion, Reek's gonna start. That's what it is. And I think they'll be fine. But yeah, I've never seen a situation like that where it's like a guy's good, but they're almost playing him reluctantly. It's very, 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 very strange. But I think it's gonna work out because Reek's a good player.
Ryan Turner. Now we have some extensive game tape on not Reek Willen, but Nick Emmanwori. What clarity, Mike, are you getting on his role?
Yeah, he's like big spoon. I'm glad they showed because I saw it in real time. I was watching the broadcast copy a little bit and saw some tweets too. They showed a replay of him like blowing up that screen on Debo. Like, you guys see that strength? Like, because that's how Spoon plays too, but obviously Nick is bigger. It's like, and that's where it shows up. I don't know which receiver that was trying to block him, but he just had no shot at blocking Nick. Like, Nick is strong, he's fast, and whereas on obvious passing downs, Nick is probably better right now to cover like the Zach Ertz play. I think he got a penalty on that Zach Ertz little out route for like 5 yards or whatever. Like, you see how sticky he was on that, and see how he was fighting through the hands all the way through the like that. He's like Big Spoon basically. Like however good you guys feel Spoon is, like Nick can be some of that, but bigger. Like basically what we're seeing from Kyle Hamilton be on the Ravens. Whereas Spoon's maybe closer to like a Brian Branch of the Lions. Nick's closer to like, but either way, we're talking about like Pro Bowl and All Pro type of talents. And even in the Texans game, we saw Nicky Mawari run full speed on a go ball out the slot against Jalen Noel, who runs 4.3. You know how Nick can do that? Because Nick also runs 4.3. What? Yeah, I think no, Nick coming downhill is as good as anything that the Seahawks do right now. Like, there's like three things the Seahawks do particularly well. It's set the edge in the run game, because my God, Derek Hall was causing problems. They are sticky in man coverage. It's disgusting stuff. And they come downhill very well. Kobe Bryant does that as well too. So yeah, Nick, I don't know what Nick's ceiling is. I probably have to see him against some better quarterbacks that test him a little bit more. But just from a style, yeah, we're looking at like a big Devin Witherspoon, which is pretty crazy because Spoon's already like one of the best nickels in the league. So what does that mean that Nick's gonna be? No, it's I can see why Mike McDonald's like, yeah, I should play those guys every snap as much as I can. I don't think Spoon and Nick are ever gonna lead the field. Like, Nick's an every down player, which is crazy. at 6'3", 220.
I'm going to combine these two questions because they're about Ernest Jones. It's from Tim Fink and Chris at rosebug_22. Can the Seahawks stay hot if Ernest has to miss time? And do you think the Seahawks make a move if Jones is out for, let's say they put him on IR?
Yeah, good question. I usually skip Mike McDonald's press conferences. I was only in there today to ask about Ernest. Like, he got off his little like, yeah, great team win, coach big thing. I ain't care about that. First question, yo, Mike, what's up with Ernest? I jumped in there real quick. I ain't want to hear the other stuff. And he was like, yeah, he's got a knee. It's not like season ending, we don't think, but we don't know how long he could be out. So, which is not much of an update, but the not season ending part was very important because, Chris, I do think, to the questioner's point, if that was like, if Ernest had like smoked his MCL or ACL or something, then I think you got to pick up the phone. Then I think you do. If you just like, we'll see, he got to like miss a game or two. You know, let's look at their schedule real quick and map it out by that. So let's say he had to miss the Cardinals and then maybe the Rams, but he's back by the Titans. They can get by. Probably maybe lose that Rams game could be tough, regardless of if Ernest plays. But I think they'd be okay. I think they'd have to adjust some things schematically a little bit, which they will. I think doing it on the fly is a lot harder than doing it with a week to prepare. If you know Ernest is going to be out, so we don't know the severity as of 3 a.m. on the East Coast right now. But I think as long as he's not out for the year, they don't need to like make a call. I think they can be okay. I think Drake Thomas has kind of earned that, and they'll adjust accordingly. I think he and Tyrese filled in like admirably when they had to, like mostly in the second half there. But you can feel Ernest's absence for sure. Like, you could feel that because Ernest is one of their best players. He's one of their like soul of the team guys. Like they were showing him on the broadcast too, right? You guys could see him like yelling, jumping. Like you see him. Like he didn't just stay in the locker room or go sit on the sideline or just be like chilling. No, Ernest's heart and his soul is in this thing, and not having him is important. If they're going to take the step back, because he's one of the best guys, but as long as he's not out for a year or something, they can get by. As much as I would love like getting Jordan Brooks back in here or just getting him out of Miami, free JB, yeah, it's a bad situation. I think they'll be okay as long as it's not like he not coming back till like Christmas or something. I think they'll be okay.
Dante Cristo, halfway through the season and post-bye, how have the rookies performed so far? Well, that's a fun one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Let's go in order. Who's
A+, Mike? He's looking really good. He's
killing it.
John Schneider, how about a thumbs up for you, my guy? You go to Nicky Memori. He's on the field. He's getting the reps. He's looking really good. It's going to be fun going back and watching the tape to see what he takes away and just how athletic he was. Matter of fact, on a play action pass, when Jaden was looking to dump it off to, I believe, the running back, Nick got so far out wide that Jaden had to keep the ball. Yeah, and he couldn't he couldn't throw it to him because he was like, "Oh, I can't throw it to him because Nick is right there." Okay, well, let me go back to the left. You're seeing the athleticism and why Mike McDonald wanted this guy and why the Seahawks traded up to get him. So he's been another A. We'll go to tight end Elijah Arroyo. You can probably throw a B in there. He's looked good. Got his touchdown. Got a touchdown on Sunday Night Football. I mean, I want to see more from him, but as Mike has alluded to throughout this podcast since we've been doing it, it's only one football. So they got a lot of talented guys. JSN being numero uno. He's going to get his touches. Kanan's going to get his touches. Zach Charbonnet. So on the pecking order, he falls a little further down. That's not his fault of his own. That's just the offense that he's in. The tight ends are going to be used in a facet for the running game. And I think AJ Barner is clearly the number one tight end. And then Elijah Arroyo is right there. But I think he's doing fine so far this season. Jalen Milroe, it sucks to suck because he had a healthy scratch just because you guys get it. Drew Lock is the backup quarterback. And maybe they're starting to realize, yeah, we don't need to just put him out there randomly just to run one play that has no significance on the game whatsoever. So tough love for him, but that's just the situation he's in. Riley Mills, he still hasn't played. Is he back yet? I don't think he
Nah,
is.
so we don't really have anything on Riley, Ricky, um,
Bryce
yeah, I think
Cable do?
yeah, Cable Do, Mason Richmond. I think there's another rookie in there. So there's not we don't have a
No, that's it.
full
You got them
eval.
all.
Yeah, we don't have a full eval on everybody. I want to say this before we move on to some other guys. Talk about Tori, I guess, a little bit more. He'd be the other one there, along with Robbie. So this is I'm gonna look at pressure rate allowed among left guards, or excuse me, among guards to play at least 200 offensive snaps. I don't know how Cole Komet's popping up in here. And let me adjust my filter real because it's something. Yeah, I don't know what's going. Okay, I filtered it out to get him out of there. So Zabel's only allowed a pressure rate. I think these are like PFF / True Media, about 4.2%.
Mm.
That's really, really low. For reference, let's see. That is around Cesar Ruiz that a lot of people want. He's around there as well. Trey Smith of the Chiefs, who's really good. I think he just got paid too. He's at 4.3%. So like right around, like pretty much almost identical. Much like Trey Smith, Gray hasn't given up a sack. He's allowed only 3 quarterback hits. These are again according to PFF. I haven't cross-checked these with the film, but let's just go with that for now. And all 3 of those quarterback hits, according to True Media, came against the Steelers. So that's it. That's every other game he ain't allowed a hit, let alone a sack. Like Gray is on his stuff. Right. And the film backs that up too. And I would love to cross-reference some of those pressures they're saying he's allowed and whatever. But just looking at his standing around the league, he's right up there with like some really, really good guards. So like that sack number of 0 and that hits allowed of 3, that's the same as Quentin Nelson, for instance, really good guard in Indy. And we can go through the list. Like some other guards are playing really well. Same thing. Damian Lewis in Carolina's playing well. Tooney, Chicago playing well. Same thing. Hasn't allowed a sack. Tooney's only allowed 1 hit, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, Gray's playing not only playing good for a rookie, Gray's playing just good left guard ball. Yeah, whether he's in year 10 or year 1. So I wanted to throw that out there on Gray. The numbers are everything for linemen, but like if your numbers are good, that's good too. And Gray's number, to say nothing of the run blocking, which is also good. It's harder to quantify. His pass pro stuff has been just absolutely nails, which is really that's what you want at a first round lineman. Like he's living up to the billing, which is like super, super impressive.
Don't really have much to add with Torrey Horton. I thought we covered that pretty well. He's doing what a lot of people thought he would be able to do, despite all the injuries. Hell, he wouldn't have gone in the 5th round at 166 overall. He probably would have went 2nd, maybe even the 1st. But for what it's worth, Torrey is he's become someone special on this offense, and Sam's trusting him, so that's huge. And then obviously Robbie Oots, having him back, that was a bad call on the chop block. That was a terrible call. The D lineman that he chop blocked was not engaged with Anthony Bradford. He beat Anthony Bradford, and then Robbie Oots chop blocked him. Terrible flag. Nonetheless, I'm sure the offense loved having Robbie back. Just the expectation of him running up and taking on guys in that first and second level at linebacker and the safety spots. Really good to have him back. I'm sure they enjoyed it, and he's probably a little bit rusty. Probably missed a few things in the game. It'll be interesting to go back in the film and see how exactly he played. But when you look at this rookie class, you got to give a round of applause to John Schneider and what he's done, because he got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dudes that are making impact on your team. That's impressive. That's impressive.
On top of the Sam Darnold edition and the D-Law edition, we're like, hey, I've saluted John Snyder before, but like, yeah, we keep doing it, man. You're finding Ty Okada, Drake Thomas, Brandon Peely, like these are John Snyder's staff as a whole. Josh Jobe, finding all these guys. Like it's not just the top of the roster, it's the bottom of it too. Before we move on to the next, I want to throw out something. I'm doing a numbers thing today. Torrey already has 5 touchdowns. He leads the Seahawks in receiving touchdowns. Actually, he has more than Jax. Jax has 4. So Torrey's already leading in that category, which is that's pretty impressive actually. And I mentioned that I like first down runs when looking at like rushing numbers. So I also like yards per route, which is really important. It's like an efficiency metric for receivers. So Jax leads the league at 4.47, which guys, trust me, that's like nuts. That's like Jerry Rice type stuff. Like that does not make sense that Jax is able to do that. So Torrey's number is not like mind blowing. It's at like 1.18, which is whatever. It's like this is 68th among receivers, which whatever. But for reference, that is who's some notable guys in that range. So like he's right behind Juan Jennings, Chris's favorite guy. He's Darius Slayton's in that mix as well. He's right behind Xavier Worthy's in that ballpark at 1.3. So like these other guys who are getting more ops and running more routes are he's just as productive on them as a per route basis. And he scored more touchdowns than all these guys. So I think that Torrey's on his way, man. Like he's having a really in the limited opportunities that he's getting, he's maximizing them as well as you can expect a guy to do in this offense. That's one of the most run heavy offenses, and Jax is eating up all the targets, and Torrey's still very efficient. I think that really stands out when watching him.
On the flip side, do you think fit is as important as talent to the Seahawks staff and organization when evaluating trade prospects? Absolutely.
Yes, Chris is right. I wouldn't say it's just important. I think it's everything. And I think that's a big part of John Snyder not wanting, like, he really wants to do his due diligence on a guy, and why he doesn't, when he trades for a dude, doesn't just like extend them right away when it's a big deal, like a big trade. I mean, he wants to see how they get along with all the people. And there's only so much due diligence you can really do, like at the deadline, They had like an idea of who Ernest was. They didn't really know until you get him in the building, right? That's why it helps sometimes when a position coach or somebody or a coordinator knows a guy. It can really vouch for like his work ethic, how he's going to handle adversity, stuff like that, And you can see that on this team. And the same thing goes with free agency too, by the way. It meant a lot that Kubiak knew. I think Kubiak knew Eric Saubert. That wasn't a big contract, but still that mattered. Carl Scott had coached Josh Jobe. There was some other like crossover. Jake Peets knows Cooper Kupp. Aiden Durde knows Demarcus Lawrence. You can go down the list. Like these are not coincidences. Like these matter. Now, same time, Clint Kubiak also vouched for like Marquez Valdez-Scantling, right? And that didn't work. So it doesn't work out all the time. But being able to have someone who can vouch for that, or doing the research on like, okay, is this guy the right fit for us? Because guys have told me that, like, yeah, I don't want this guy in the building because I done heard this and about him, That's why the Jimmy Graham thing was bad. Not just because of how they would use him. Guys on the team thought Jimmy was soft. Whether he was or not, being perceived as that by your teammates, not the type of guy you bring in, and he really do anything to like make that not a thing. I don't think Draymond Jones was a good locker room fit for different reasons. We don't have to dive into those, but just talking to people, I don't think he was, right? Then down to Sheldon Richardson, same thing. I think KJ has talked about that openly. So there's just been guys, I think that fit is everything, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes they're not a good fit. I don't think for in some ways, Jamal wasn't a good fit. More so like with the org. I think guys generally liked Jamal, but wasn't like as good a fit as like Quandre or even Dwayne Brown. These are great fits. The midseason trade acquisitions. Carlos Dunlap, good fit. Not every fit is right. Free agency is the same way. Chenna is a perfect fit. And I think Chenna's selflessness really shows up. Like Chenna just wanted an opportunity and he just wants to win. And so that's why he was, I think we joked about it on this pod before. They didn't ask Chenna had to get surgery this offseason, give up his jersey number, and take a pay cut. Did all of it. Like, I just want to be here and I want to win. He's kind of bought in that way. So I think it's everything. I think fit is everything. Schematically, the mentality. I think that Leo said it perfectly today. He said this before as well, but they have an identity. when you walk in and play, whether you're on the practice squad or you're on an active roster, you learn very quickly how things work, how guys run to the ball, how they practice, how they take notes in meetings. And if you're not doing those things, it sticks out like a sore thumb and that gets you out of here, or you just won't play because you don't fit. And I think I was talking to Jayon Kendrick about that. Like when he got here, he's like, "Oh, okay, I see how it gets down. This is how we do this. This is the DB room standard. This is how we practice. This is how we run to the ball. This is how we, play for one another." Like he saw that very quickly when he showed up. And I think if you don't fit that, oh yeah, you don't belong, no matter how good of a talent you are. So yes, I think that factors into why the Seahawks may not be willing to just like make a bunch of moves to the deadline, because you don't know. What if this guy don't fit? What if he's not the right guy? And if he's not, it'll just ruin everything, whether he's a good player or not.
Ryan Healy, which NFL teams are clearly better than the Seahawks?
Is there one?
I would say probably the Eagles.
Yeah,
Don't
I
really
mean,
care for the AFC. They'll meet them in the Super Bowl if that's the case. I don't know. I would probably maybe the Bills, even though the Patriots are 7-2. I don't know if I trust them. Colts 7-2. Don't know if I trust them. And then after that, it's like Broncos. Do I trust them? Although their defense is nasty, I think they won 6 straight games. Patriots also won 6 straight. But yeah, I think the Eagles. I'll say the Bucks. Maybe the Packers and maybe the Lions. Even the Lions lost on Sunday. So there's probably like 3 teams right now that I think that are better than the Seahawks. I don't know where you stand, Mike.
I don't think there is anyone clearly better. And I think that every team has its I think every team has its warts. Again, I thought coming into this game they were just as good as any NFC team, for sure. The Eagles have a problem there. Like even when they're playing well, they have a problem. The quarterback is their problem. Don't need to dive into it. It's not an Eagles podcast. But it's not just they have a problem over there. Trust me on that. There's a reason AJ Brown and Smitty are the way that they are, particularly AJ. They have a problem. They have a play caller problem as well. They're figuring it out, but they're very clearly flawed. The Packers are like obviously flawed. I knew that before coming into this game. I don't think it was an outlier. Like I think the Seahawks scoring 13 in week 1 was like an outlier. I don't think the Packers games where their offense hasn't had it clicking were outlier games. I think that they have a fundamental structure issue with Jordan Love's inconsistency. And when he is not on, it can get really ugly. Like that Browns game where they scored like 10. What they score today? 13?
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan looked like Terry Rozier out there with some of these throws. I was like, dog, who are you playing for? You triple coverage, deep ball? Like, what's up with you? But that's where they are. And their defense, same thing. Like, they can look like nails, and then they can have stuff like that Cowboys game, right? So, I don't think they're clearly like Bucks. I don't think are clearly better. Let's see, Rams. The Rams would be the one I would, if anybody. And then the AFC, like I think I don't think clearly better. I've finally got a chance to watch the Colts in the last few weeks, and I was not totally surprised they took an L today. Like I watched all of that game today because it was the game on CBS here locally. Every team, I got to see what happens when your quarterback gets sped up, including the Seahawks, by the way. When your quarterback gets sped up, how does that work? Boy, Daniel Jones got sped up, and he looked like Daniel Jones. And that it's not bad, but I think that when he does get sped up, you get a pass rush that can speed him up. Then what? And I think that that's important to see with that team. Why I don't think they're clearly better. They could be better, but yeah, clearly, I don't know. That Steelers defense is not good, and they look like the Legion of Boom today against the Colts. Though they couldn't block Highsmith, number 41. They couldn't block TJ Watt. It was bad. Daniel Jones looked bad. Like it was just awful. So. And then same thing with the Patriots. I think that they have now Drake May is not as when you speed him up, he might just still kill you. But I can say the same thing about Sam too. So I think I think their defense better than Patriots defense. So I think they're right there with all the other good teams. That and their point differential reflects that too. There's only 2 teams with a better point differential than the Seahawks. It's the Rams and the Colts. That's it. They got a better point differential than the Bills. Than the Chiefs, who are also very good, than the Broncos, everybody, and then the Patriots. So I don't think there's anyone clearly better. I think the Seahawks are just as good as anybody right now, and because everybody has a flaw, a pretty big one for most teams, to be honest. So Seahawks good as anybody.
From Jeffrey, are the best teams in the NFC the Rams and the Seahawks? Yeah, most likely. I think so.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on the Lions. I think them being banged up on the secondary is like it's tough, man. It's tough. Like I had some of them dudes guarding Justin and Addison today. I was like, who are these guys? I almost text Colton Pouncey, our Lions guy, like, yo, who's number 27? Like, why is he playing? I forgot. Like DJ Reed's hurt. Like I was like, okay, never mind. I see. So I still believe in the Lions, mostly because I believe in their coach and their staff. Like Dan Campbell's he's as good as they come in the league, and he's just gonna have his guys ready. They have it just like the Seahawks with McDonald have an identity, like that they can live by and die by. The Lions have that. So even when they're not playing their best ball, I still believe in Dan to come figure it out. So I think that was a good game today too. So yeah, I think 4 teams have I'm taking the Packers out of this because I didn't really believe in that. So I think I just didn't, man. Jordan
Eagles, Bucks, Rams, and Seahawks.
I say I'm taking the Bucks out of that too, just because I think they were winning by the skin of their teeth anyway, and you kind of see what happens when they don't have that. Like, what are they? They are like their offense did not play well either in that Saints game that they won. They're putting differentials plus 19 at 6-2. Like, yeah, they're not that. I think the Eagles, Rams, Lions, Seahawks are I put them as the tier 1, and then right under that is where I put the Bucks, Niners, and the Packers. Seahawks are real good, man. That defense is the Rams too. Both of their defenses are real deal, and the Eagles defense is very, very good as well when they're healthy.
This next one is from at Ease World. Are the Seahawks able to hang with big contenders? Yeah,
we'll see.
They're able to.
We'll see though. We'll see. Who's the first one they got coming up? The Rams.
The Rams, yeah. That'll be another test for them. The Texans was the first test. Passed it with flying colors. As you said, JSN took turns on the DBs over there. You want this smoke? I got you. Oh, you want some too? Not a problem. The Rams don't have corners, but they have a nasty front. So mix and match here.
And their deep and their safeties are playing well too. Can't remember
Cameron Curl and
they're both named Cameron, I think. Kitchens and Curl. Yeah. Cameron Kitchens and Cameron Curl. We can check that. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're playing. That's why they're playing well too. So yeah, that's the test.
I think they probably. We're not going to get into that. I'll go to the next question. Let's see. From Zach. For the first time in a long time, should I buy Super Bowl tickets?
You should always buy them because the resale, the return on investment is great.
Value.
Give them to us, give us a discount at least, Yeah, I want to go. I want to go to the Super Bowl. Where's it at? In the Bay? San Fran, right? I think so. I think that's where it's at this year. I want to get out there and check that out. I will say this though, because I do think you got to be able to run the ball to be a contender. To make a playoff round, I think you have to be able to do that. Like you got to, like Chris's example is very pertinent. You got to be like, if you're up 6 with 8 minutes in the fourth, if they do get the ball back, the other team that is, there needs to be like 4 minutes on the clock or less. Like you can't just go 3 and out and punt. And then ask your defense, okay, get 2 more stops. Like you were talking about earlier, Chris, like, oh, what happens if they do that against a good team? We've seen that with not good teams. Like the Cardinals almost walked them down. The Texans made that a 1-score game. And the Texans only didn't get the ball back at the end of that game because the dude jumped on a pile on the end of a 3rd down run that didn't get converted. They were going to have to punt the ball back to CJ. And I don't think CJ was going to go the length of the field in like 40 seconds or whatever. But the point is they didn't slam the door shut. They got lucky. They really didn't slam the door shut on Pittsburgh, really. But it helped that they got the kickoff that kind of made it a 2-score game and helped it out. So, I think that not being able to slam it shut is huge. They really just only slammed it shut on the Saints, so they really waved the white flag. Like, haven't been able to run the ball. So that would be the only thing that makes me skeptical. Though I will say this: generally, it is very hard to go on the road 3 times and get to the Super Bowl. However, if there is a team in the NFC built to do that, it probably is the Mike McDonald Seahawks. Because on the road, they're just like, bring the noise, bring the funk, bring the pain. So that would be the only. That's like the only saving grace is that if they had to play 3 road games, they'd be like, well, they might win 3 road games. These guys are good on the road. What was it, 11-1 on the road? The only one they've lost though is to a team they might have to see with the Lions. Lost to the Lions week 4 last year. So if they had to go up to Detroit, could you get it done again? That'd be tough. And then could you do that and then go to Philly? Or, it'd be tough. But shoot, they went on the road everywhere else. So why wouldn't I think that can travel?
This next one is from Corky. Why is Clint Kubiak the only person on the Seahawks sideline who refuses to wear throwback gear?
I didn't even notice that. Does he not?
I honestly didn't notice that either. So you know what? Let's pull it up and see if I'm assuming that's accurate. But wow, Clint Kubiak doing his own thing.
That's funny if that's true. I gotta go look at that. Clint Kubiak, he's an interesting dude. I don't know if you guys watch his press conference. It's so stale, so boring, but it is so very clear he's good at his gig. it is so very clear. If that is the case that he does not, he needs to get some throwback gear because that stuff is fire. Quietly, this wasn't the question. This was an elite uniform matchup today with the almost said the other name, with the Commanders wearing their old stuff and the Seahawks wearing their old stuff. It was aesthetically beautiful. That was great. Hopefully the next time they wear theirs, that's the opponent is wearing some different type of uniform too, because that was really great today.
No, that's not him. Unfortunately, that's Mike McDonald and company. Well, nonetheless, I would assume that's accurate. I don't know why Clint isn't rocking the gear if that's the case. I guess he's just in his own world, doesn't really care for it. Can I blame him?
Gotta ask him. Remind me to ask him.
That'll work too. Well, look, it's almost 4 a.m. where Mike is at. It is 4 a.m. Excuse me. My apologies.
Yes, it is.
We appreciate all the love and support. It's been a minute because of the bye week. I'm sure Mike enjoyed his time off as I did. So with that being said, we're back at it to finish off the season. Can you believe it? More than halfway through the season, and the Seahawks are 6-2 and looking like it's time for you to buy some tickets for the Super Bowl. But make sure you go support us on TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, Seahawks Man to Man. Check us all out
as well.
Oh, duh, YouTube. I was forgetting one, and YouTube. So we appreciate all the love and support. Mike, you got something to plug? Also,
Yes.
shout out to the one listener. I know you had a couple of folks out there, but we had a listener reach out on Seahawks Man to Man Instagram, and I'll let Mike take it away from there.
Yeah, shout out Jason, and we met up pre-game. Got it, sold him a book, signed it for him, chopped it up on the field. Yeah, see, that's why I don't have a book to hold up. I gave Bobby his book today, and then I gave Chris holding one up. I gave Cliff his book. Cliff was on my flight out here, so I don't have any book copies on me. But yeah, Chris, hold it up. The franchise, Seattle Seahawks, a curated history of the Legion of Boom era. You can get it wherever books are sold. You can also buy them from me. I have them on the road. I have them at home. Just DM us, DM me. Let me know if you're going to a game, home or road. Home's easy. I have some in my trunk, but just let me know in advance on the road so I know how many to throw in my bag. We can meet up at the game, meet up at my hotel, wherever, at airport, whatever. I'll get it to you. So yeah, I appreciate all that love. Our potential guest for the Arizona game, Doug, who covers the Cardinals for The Athletic. They're playing on Monday night, so we're still working out that scheduling. Chris and I are, no matter what, going to drop our one big thing this week as well. That's definitely going to be the thing. We're going to drop our preview as well. TBD on whether those are the same show. So just make sure you subscribe and follow us so you can just get alerted when we drop new shows, because it could be a multi-show week for our midweek stuff just because of the scheduling. So, and then we'll obviously do our not one big thing. Standout plays at the end of the week as well. So appreciate the love, appreciate the support. I am going to try and at least pretend to sleep for the next few hours. We will catch you guys later this week. Peace.